phase now. Search teams expanding the underwater area to over 23,000 square miles. Joining us once again, CNN aviation analyst and former advisor to the UK Ministry of Defence, retired Lieutenant Colonel Michael Kay. I feel like I should at least genuflect or curtsy. Good to see you, my friend.
Good morning. No need to curtsy.
No need to, sir. Let's talk about the expanded search area. I think it's really interesting for us to note. This is the search area that the Bluefin's been looking at. Looks like a tiny dot. That actually is 150 square miles, which is really not that small. However, Michael, they're talking about expanding this area now, something like this, to about, I'm just terrible at writing on this thing, 23,000.
It's going well so far.
23,000, that's like, that equals 150 times
Yeah.
the amount that they've been searching.
Well, look, it's disappointing that we haven't come up with anything so far, but I don't think we should be disheartened.
But doesn't that dishearten you, this new search amount?
Let's understand why. There was a lot of expectation built into finding ocean debris on this second ping, but the first trawl.
Right.
Sound propagates in water, travels through water in all sorts of weird and wonderful ways, and it's all dependent on the medium of water and its elasticity and its density.
Sure.
Now that's affected by the temperature of the water, the pressure of the water, and the salinity of the water, which is how much salt the water contains.
Sure.
And it plays around with the signal.
But to your point, that happened there. Now it's only going to do those things in this larger area still.
Well, it is. And this was the big decision that Angus Houston had to make. The whole way that this investigation has been conducted is unorthodox, because we've gone straight in for the needle on the haystack. We haven't found the haystack.
Right, that's a good point.
And so the expectation has been built up to get the black boxes straight from the get-go. That never happens. It's the other way around. You find the debris, and then you zone in on the black boxes through the Bluefins. That's what happened with Air France 447. So we should expect this, but expectation has been built to find something here. The Bluefin's only been in the water for 14 days, remember? That's
actually a very good point. All right, let's move on to the fact that another aspect of this is that the cost, they've talked about a cost. They've actually attributed $56 million. This is what the cost is going to be, which if you look at how much that is a day, that's $233,000 a day. Part of this, I wondered, speaking to your point about debris, aerial searches are, for the most part, being suspended because they say, or Prime Minister Abbott was saying, that floating debris would have become waterlogged and sunk. Do you think that's a fair estimation?
I don't think he can say that 100% unequivocally, and that's because the aircraft is made up of three main materials. The first one is this carbon fiber plastic composite. That's about 50% of the aircraft, mainly on the fuselage.
Yeah.
Now we know that that won't be able to absorb water.
So it wouldn't sink.
So well, it would all depend on the way that the aircraft has come to its resting place in terms of how did it break up. Did it break up into lots of small little pieces? If it did, there's a greater chance that they will sink. If they're big pieces, then you've got a greater surface area, and there's a greater chance that it will float. But then you've got the other external factors like cyclones and weather and sea states and everything else. Then you've got the steel, which is mainly the undercarriage, and then you've got the aluminium, which is in the wings. That is more likely to sink. Now, I think the thing we need to go to on the aerial search is that we've been going now for over 52 days, and the crews and the aeroplanes have been operating at a tempo, a surge tempo, that they just can't sustain. So they're going to have a natural pause and break anyway. But I think it will now go to a more reactive than proactive search. And what I mean by that is that it's been proactive in that you've been flooding the area with all these maritime surveillance assets. Now Angus Houston will take a step back and he will react to things that may be seen. And that way you don't have to have aircraft out there 24 hours a day, or at least during daylight hours.
Right, because that's going to add to the cost
Absolutely. I mean, the fuel, the operating costs of these aircraft are absolutely huge. And that will contribute a big part to this $56 million.
Absolutely. Private contractors being brought in, we were told as well. We'll see what that means coming days. Michael Kay, always a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks so much.